Jesus Uwu Christ. All right, before we get into the tweets proper, we have a thing that Paul sent that I think you might have seen already. But just in case. Criminals for Kamala, says Donald Trump. Breaking news, Donald Trump endorses Kamala Harris. So, like, as much as I did just kind of shit on the memes, the political memes or whatever, I am enjoying them. They are fun.
It is exactly what you would expect. It is exactly what you would expect.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Then we have, okay, so Eric Hovind. First sentence. She was 10 and seemed pretty consenting.
What?
What?
What? Hold on.
Eric?
I have no other...
What? So...
Hold on. First of all, Tasha, bad timing. Ooh, again, I guess. Secondly, what does the rest of that tweet... Hold on. She was 10 and seemed very consenting, but you're still not seeing the underlying problem. Why is it wrong? Not is there a law about it, because there are other countries that don't have that law. So why in your worldview is it wrong for a 25-year-old man to marry an 11-year-old girl? Power dynamics. I'm sorry. Their power dynamics, experience, informed consent. There's a bunch of fucking reasons.
Okay. But so the thing about this is, so Jassa Proxy says, I'm guessing Mary. No. There's a video that he shows of an interview with, like, a guy who is about to marry a 10-year-old, and they're like interviewing him, being like, hey, what is going on here? Like, does she understand what like who you are, what the age difference is? And like, clearly the kid has no idea what's going on. And I feel intensely bad for her.
It's a 10-year-old. Even if they feel like they understand the situation, they don't actually understand what it means to be an adult with experience.
That video was nowhere in the thread where he posted this. This was an argument about evolution. And then just out of nowhere, he just said, she was 10 and seemed pretty consenting. So, like, to me, who did not know that he had had a previous interaction with the person he was talking to where this video was involved.
All I see
is that, like, that came out of nowhere. So it's like, oh, that sounds like a confession. Like, ooh.
She was 10 and was pretty consenting. Like, my guy, I need you to say this is the same shit that people who are animal rapists say when they're like, oh, the goat seemed pretty consenting. Like, no, the fuck it wasn't.
Yeah, no,
Shut the fuck up.
That's the thing you say when you have personal experience with the situation.
Yeah.
Like, that is not what you say as part of a hypothetical that you're posing. That's not what you say when you're talking about someone else's video. That sounds like you are confessing to something. So I retweeted that, pointing out that that's what that seems to be saying. I was not the first person to point it out. He already had multiple dozens of comments responding to this, being like, whoa, hold up, buddy. What did you just say? But he, this inspired one of those surreal moments that I have occasionally as a content creator, where, like, growing up as a kid, I knew who Kent Hovind was. I was a creationist. I followed Kent Hovind's shit. I knew who Eric Hovind was. That's Kent Hovind's kid. Wow, he's, like, cooler than Kent Hovind. That's pretty neat. And so, like, if you go back and like, he direct messaged me about this, asked me to delete it because the context wasn't there. And it was like,
no, my guy, you said something stupid on the internet. The internet will not forget.
Well, I did tell him that, like, you know, like, okay, fair. There was context where, like, this, like, that exact scenario didn't come completely out of nowhere. It's still not great the way you said it. Like, and the fact that the video exists does not change the fact that you worded this in a way that it makes it sound like
you still worded it like a child rapist.
Yeah. So, like, that doesn't change that. But, like, I told him, like, if you delete your original thing, then I will delete mine. But, like, you said what you said, and if you're standing by it, I'm calling out what you said.
Yeah, because what you said sounds gross as shit.
But, like, he's also, but, like, if you were to go back in time and tell creationist me that, like, hey, one day Eric Hovind will send you a direct message telling you to delete a post because you were a meanie pants to him, that just would have, like, blown my little brain. So, yeah, but we're having a little argument.
A lover's spat, if you will.
I don't think he's ever going to invite me on his channel.
Probably not.
Single tear rolls down my cheek.
Da,
He is.
da, da, da.
He did steal my name, so like it would be cool if we could have like a conversation.
Yeah, he anagrammed
just
your
for
name
the
and
memes.
everything.
Yeah. So
God,
like,
what a fucking weirdo.
but like, yeah, no, I'm not terribly worked up about this. I am kind of legitimately upset that I seem to be the only atheist content creator that I know, and well, probably you as well. So like the two of us are like the only ones that I know that Ray Comfort hasn't sent a fruit basket to.
Yeah, he hasn't. To be fair, I've only ever covered him maybe like 3 times. So, I mean, he doesn't have much reason to have me on his radar, I think.
He sent one to John and KC. They don't cover him ever. Although John is in his movie, so
Yeah.
Fennec says, wait, fruit baskets? Yeah, he sends fruit baskets to everybody. He sent one to John and KC. He sent one to, I think, Jacqueline Glenn. He sent a fruit basket to Hannah and Jake. After, I think they sued him because he like took down their video for copyright things. I don't remember exactly how that went down, but like Ray Comfort was their second experience with that. Do you want a fruit basket? No, probably not. I'm just kind of.
Do you want to have a fruit basket?
I'm just kind of offended that like he doesn't want to send me a fruit basket.
It's not that you wanted to be at the party. It's that you wanted an invitation to the party.
Exactly.
That was more important than being at the party.
Come on, guys. I totally meant the whole banana thing as a joke. No. Have you seen his the Banana Man documentary?
I have not seen that. I didn't know that existed.
So that's him basically explaining how he became the Banana Man and why people laugh at him for the Banana Man thing, except he has to know. There's no way he can't know, because like the reason we find the banana thing funny is because it looks like he's blowing a banana.
It's a penis joke.
He's performing oral sex on a banana. That's what, because that's what his thing is. But he seems to be convinced. He tries to it's called The Fool. So he tries to, in this documentary that he made, he explains how he got the nickname, and it's like, oh, you know what? They're laughing at me because the analogy didn't make sense without the first part about the Coke can, where if you put a Coke can out and it was actually just like a pile of Coke and then a can grew up around it. That's what atheists believe with the Big Bang. Without that coming first, then the banana thing doesn't make sense. It's like, no, it's because you sucked it like a dick.
Yeah, it looked
while
like
describing
you were doing
how
a blowjob.
It's curved perfectly towards the face for easy insertion. Like, it's hilarious because you're fucking blowing a banana. But like he has to know. He has to know that that's why we find it's funny. But he made a whole ass movie about why that's not why we think it's funny. It's actually because the Coke can is missing.
Yeah, that's.
So it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, and yeah, no, I've covered his shit a bunch. Anyway, this isn't even about what's his face, Comfort. So
Ray Comfort.
Moving on, next tweet. Oh yeah, so Ben Marsh posted this flyer that he got for a church that says smiling wives, obedient children, loud singing, strong handshakes, young marriages, good manners, biblical preaching, reverent worship. Saying, holy smokes, this is an ad for abusive husbands to join your church. Like, yeah. And then honest youth.
Remember when your wife was obedient? Remember when she was scared to speak up?
Yeah. And honest youth pastor said, so to be clear, this didn't come from my church, but it does describe my church, so it's strange that people think this would be an oddity amongst believers. Oh no, our wives are happy? Note that it doesn't actually say happy wives, it says smiling wives.
They're smiling.
Those are not the same thing.
Yeah. Smile through the pain, honey.
Oh, did the Matt Walsh comedy post make it to Twit Tweets? If that's the one, I do have a Matt Walsh post coming up. If he tried to claim that was a joke later, just like, oh, that's no. Okay, Octo hat. Spent so much time talking about pussy. It's time to put the pussy on my head. The Octo pussy.
You know, I think I'll actually take Matt Walsh instead. Let's go.
instead of the Octopussy?
Yes.
Okay, but yeah, no. So this is this.
On a scale of Walsh to Octopussy, we'll take the Octopussy.
So yeah, this stupid pamphlet thing absolutely does sound like it wants abusive men.
You know what it also could be? An advertisement for a horror movie.
Yep. Yeah, it's like one of those little community of like creepy people that you can't quite put your finger on why they're creepy, but they're all like perfect.
Yeah, it's like they're also
perfect
pleasant.
manners.
Yeah, it's that.
Oh,
it's that exactly.
Have you seen the ad? It's the new James McAvoy movie. That's like this crazy horror thriller thing.
Oh, where the is it the one where the family like goes to visit these and the people that just end up like stuck in their
and
their
he's like a crazy murderer who like chopped his kid's tongue out or whatever. It's like that. That's what this is advertising.
I actually want to see that movie. It looks really good.
I don't want to see that movie because I don't like that kind of movie.
I like stuff that makes me unsettled. Like that's
don't.
Yeah, I get comfortable vibes in the Raccoon City Police Department in Resident Evil 2. I don't know what that says about my fucked up childhood, but
yeah, that says a lot actually.
Silent CDN, fuck off. Oh, again, you get your posture check, Sylvie. Got it. Why?
Okay. So this is a guy who retweeted the same thing, that same flyer, but we didn't need to see the flyer twice. He says, guys like this have to label godly masculinity as abusive because their whole shtick is catering to loud women and gay adjacent men. This is where I retweeted this one being like, question, what the fuck is a gay adjacent man? Sincerely, a guy who's not gay but will suck a dick.
I don't find men attractive, but I can tell you I for sure have sucked a dick.
Yeah, but like, what is gay adjacent? Am I gay adjacent?
Yeah, I don't know what gay
or
adjacent
are
means.
you gay adjacent because I'll suck a man dick and you're beside me?
I guess. I mean, if you're sucking a man dick beside me, I guess it depends on the mechanics involved.
Maybe.
How far beside me are we talking?
Oh, I just realized that this stream is not going to be monetized, nor is this clip of the stream.
It's far enough inside the stream. It might make it.
It might make. You know what? I found that it's the YouTube thing is very forgiving. If on the self-report thing, you basically just tell it you've done the first level of everything.
That's what I do.
Yeah, like they're not going to penalize you for reporting.
I'm kind of a naughty boy.
Yeah, because they're not gonna like penalize you for lying about, like, if you say that you talked a little bit about sex but you actually didn't talk about sex at all, they're not going to penalize you for saying you talked a little bit about sex but it's still monetizable. The penalization only goes the other way around. So this way you can say, like, whatever it comes back as, you can say like, oh no, I did report that, so you can still trust my reporting, we just disagree about the severity.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how you hack that system. You just tell it you do everything.
How to game YouTube in 2024 with Viced Rhino. Probably. I don't know.
You make really long videos because apparently people fall asleep, and then that makes the watch time metric go up, and so YouTube is like, oh, people really like watching this one. So then it sends your video to all the sleeping people. I had mixed feelings when I found out that that's why long videos actually do better than short videos, because like I started doing my video combinations or whatever, and I started seeing like, oh, these things are actually like really popular. Like even now, like it's been out for several months and it's still like consistently in like some of my most popular content for the last 28 days. I'm like, wow, people really love this. And then I saw that Spiffing Brit video that explained it, and it was just like, aw. Now I'm kind of sad.
So my friend Ant Dude actually like capitalized on that on his channel really well. He already has like 20 to 30 minute long videos to begin with, but when he started getting those videos combined, he'd be like all of his videos on Mario, all of his videos on Kirby, and he put them on a secondary channel called Ant Snooze.
I might try something like that, because I thought about that. I'm like, I could just do like a supercut of all my Matt Powell videos. That would be like, God damn it, I've spent way too much time on this fucking kid. Like, there's probably like maybe 40 hours of content that I have just on Matt Powell. My God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have contemplated something like that. But that I didn't think of second channel. I was like, oh, I'd do a main channel thing. But
Man, I could probably get about like an 8-hour video done of Matt Walsh, just of how often I've had to cover him.
yeah.
Man, but would I even title one if I did it on Caitlin Bennett? She fell off of being relevant like really hard.
Oh yeah, was she the one that like pooped herself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she's poop lady.
Okay. It's kind of sad that that's the thing that makes her stand out in my mind because I don't remember anything else that she did other than she was a right-wing piece of shit.
She used to be Gun Girl. That was like what everybody called her at
Yeah,
first.
but now all of the women Republicans are gun girl now.
Yep. Or that one Valentina Gomez, I think is her name, the politician that
Was she the one that like took the flamethrower to the books that we covered a little while ago?
She took the flamethrower to the books, but did you watch her other political advertisements?
I have heard of them.
She would just like be jogging with a bulletproof vest on and just be like, "Vote for me, don't be weak and gay."
Yeah.
What?
Yep. And then
Okay.
and then after she came in 8th out of 10, a bunch of like videos came out of her like using angry slurs.
Yep. She also apparently staged an entire thing where she did a To Catch a Predator thing, and I couldn't find any like arrest records or any information that showed that it was real. It seemed like it was all actors the entire time. It's all posturing, from top to bottom.
Yep. Yep. All right. Oh, we got a few Joey tweets today.
Oh, I've been seeing him pop up in my shit a lot lately.
To be
Isn't
fair,
this the guy who pretended to be a black woman?
yes.
Okay.
That's when he went viral, and now he's just showing up everywhere. He says, if illegals aren't voting, why do politicians pander to them? Why do we allow them in and treat them so well? They're voting. Everyone knows it. Is it just
is
completely...
it because they're people?
Yeah, like, is it just completely a foreign concept to the right wing that, like, maybe being decent to people is a good thing, regardless of whether or not they're voting?
Like, maybe it's okay to just...
like,
be a good person. Maybe that's fine.
Having empathy is a thing.
Like, I don't
understand
this desperate need.
Most of these people are refugees who are fleeing a dangerous situation, and the reason they like when I posted about this, like some people were saying like, oh yeah, no, I fully agree that we should treat them well and everything like that, but they should come through a legal port of entry rather than trying to cross illegally. The thing is, when you come through a legal port of entry, they can just say no and send you on your way. Whereas if you like cross illegally and say you're claiming asylum, then
you can at least get
that
safe
actually
first.
like there is actually protection in there for like if you're actually on an asylum claim, crossing illegally gets that kick started faster.
Like I'm gonna be honest, I do not find immigration to be such a big deal that we have to give a shit. I think it's better to just let people, if they want to come here, these people obviously want to be American citizens more than anyone else. Just let them be here and do their thing. What is the worst that's going to happen? If you're worried about them taking jobs from Americans, guess what? Most of the time, they're not taking jobs you wanted in the first place.
If you're worried about the terrorists getting in, guess how many terrorists the TSA has caught? 0. It's 0.
That's why we call it security theater.
Jester Lord of Fools says gay adjacent puts the whole get thee behind me Satan thing in a whole new light.
Now I'm just imagining the Satan from South Park.
I don't know the Satan from South Park. And Rosina is sending $2 to let us all know that she's still awake. Thank you, Rosina.
In South Park, Satan is gay lovers with Saddam Hussein in hell.
Okay, I could see that.
And apparently it's an abusive relationship where Saddam Hussein is the abuser and Satan needs therapy.
I mean, Saddam was a pretty bad dude. And if you actually go with the biblical character of Satan, he's not actually that bad of a dude.
I'm just imagining the section from Bigger, Longer, and Uncut with Saddam Hussein just getting up. Bend over for me, Satan.
Kitsune Cavalier says, "Get thee behind me," with the peach and eggplant emoji. Joey again says, "I've never met a liberal who isn't intensely sexually frustrated." Hi, I'm right here.
What does he mean by intensely sexually frustrated?
Like they need their incels.
Is
The
it just...
liberals that are incels.
I'm just sitting here trying to figure out, like, I wouldn't consider myself a liberal. I tend to be more left than liberals. I'm not as big a fan of capitalism as most liberals are, but I'm sure that to his brain, like, that's all the umbrella of liberal. So we've got at least two people here in long-standing loving relationships with women. So I'm not...
Yeah.
I'm not sure which liberals he's talking about right now. Like, I'm sure they exist, but all of them? No.
Clueless Expert says, "I'll be visiting the US for a work thing in September, and as a white EU citizen, I didn't need a visa, didn't need anything but a simple form. A coworker of mine who's an Indian citizen living in Europe for a similar work trip would need a visa, which would take 2+ years to process." What the actual fuck? Yeah, thanks for the 10 bits. But it's all kinds of fucked up. Yeah, but this Carl guy says that's because 99% of them ain't getting none. To which Joey says, many of them could be cured by a good hard fuck, but no one wants to fuck them.
Cured by a... Wait.
My partner literally just blurted out, "I'll fuck you." So...
Like, we'll cure you. Let's go ahead and cure you with a good hard fuck.
Yeah, but like...
I don't...
That's like, I don't even know how they... Like, because, like, you look at the incel community, like, all the communities that are of guys complaining that they never get laid, all of it's Republican or right-wing. Mostly fairly extreme right-wing. You don't see that on the left.
Like, I know some people who are left-wing and sexually frustrated and are not able to find partners, but I also know plenty of people on the right wing who are sexually frustrated and cannot find partners. This seems like a really weird one.
Having trouble finding partners is a human experience.
Yeah, that's not a political issue.
But the way people deal with it is, it seems to be on the right, you demand that you deserve a partner just because existence means someone has to fuck me. Whereas on the left, we're like, no, you actually have to find someone you're compatible with and, like, work to be a good person. And yeah, and I am speaking mostly from the male perspective. I have no idea what it's like being a on the female side of this.
Also, real quick, Dead Domain, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate you coming in and bringing your chat over here. Crow in here is saying, wait, Vice Rhino, oh my god. Yeah, Vice Rhino's here every Wednesday. We do a thing every Wednesday, also making fun of people on Twitter. Also,
we're probably done with the Hulk Hogan with the pussy jokes.
Are we?
Probably, I said.
Now that you've brought them back up, hey, there's 72 people here who
that
obviously
they have not heard your Hulk Hogan.
We're not present for it. Crove is saying Hulk Hogan with a... Never mind. Okay, so the quick and dirty version of it is Andrew Tate was...
Quick and dirty, brother.
Andrew Tate, who's a piece of shit, ended up being, like, trans positive once on accident by being a misogynist. When he said, would you fuck a trans woman who was a 10 out of 10, or would you try only to fuck a cis woman who happened to be a 2 out of 10? And his examples was Hulk Hogan with a pussy or Megan Fox with a penis. And then he said, with Megan Fox, you could just scoot it. Like, that was his actual statement, is you could just scoot the dick. So there was a whole tirade here about Hulk Hogan with a pussy. And so we've got... Pound me, brother. You don't know why it's called a handlebar mustache yet. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
You're not getting any new follows off of that raid.
Nope, except for Robo Twilight and Pirate Fishy Flesh and Nelson JD and Corrupted Scarecrow and Julia.
Oh, shut up.
And Crunky Brewster.
Unfollow now. You've heard the Hulk Hogan thing.
Unfollow because of the Hulk Hogan thing. Pirate Fishy says, does he have a handlebar mustache below too?
That's how you find the clit. The clit is the nose in that scenario. Dino Kaz says, that's some hulking good pussy. Okay. Joey again says, did we ever figure out why the vaccinated need to be protected from the unvaccinated? Yes, we figured that out in like the 1800s, buddy. Where have you been this whole time? Like, it's because vaccines are not 100% effective. They're pretty good. A lot of them are like 99%. But like, there is 1% there. And also, like, the virus mutates. Like, having not vaccinated people spreading the disease everywhere.
The virus mutates a lot when it's a rhinovirus, which COVID is.
Yeah. It doesn't even matter what the disease is. Like the vaccine actually stops it from spreading because like this is a person that can no longer or like doesn't transmit it anymore. So like the vaccine actually acts as a buffer between unvaccinated people. So like you guys should be thanking the vaccinated people because we're buffering your butts.
Yup.
So,
Palpatine Clone says Hogan and Tate are both on a similar level of terrible people who are unintentionally the funniest men alive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey Sorbs says, if Kamala is really black, have her say the N-word. Let the people decide for themselves.
I wish he would just stop talking.
Yeah.
I really wish he would just stop talking.
Yep.
Like,
I don't get it. I don't get it why having multiple parents is confusing to these people.
It is, they like, don't understand the concept of mixed race. They don't.
Like, do they not think that people of two different races can even have children together? Like, I don't understand why this is such a hard concept to grasp.
Grove says, I need Kamala to address the union as my fellow Americans and she'll have my vote. No, we don't need that. That's so the thing that's weird to me isn't just the obsession with her race though, right?
Yeah.
It's the obsession with white people and the N-word. Like that's the other thing that's just weird. So
yeah.
Okay. So fun bit of history for me. I grew up in a like 98% black neighborhood. I knew 2 other white people in my neighborhood. Everybody else was black. This was in Montclair, Pensacola. And I remember one person in the neighborhood told me to say hello to the next person I met. This is when I was like 8 years old, by addressing them as N-word. I had not heard the word before when I was 8 because I was doing most of my time spent, being inside playing Pokemon. So I did say that to my friend Anthony when I was 8 years old. And he just stopped what he was doing, gave me a death glare, and just went, do you know what that means? This is an 8 and a 9-year-old talking to each other, by the way. And even at that point, the other kid is just like, dude, here's why you don't do that. Not just because it made me angry, but because I don't want you to get beat up. Yeah. So and that was a thing, a funny joke played on an 8-year-old version of me, right? But what I do not understand, after that moment, I had no problem recognizing that word is just a word that does not come out of my mouth, period. It's not for me to say. It's stupid for that. The obsession white people have with that word, though, confuses the fuck out of me. Yeah. Maybe I had the opportunity of growing up in an environment that taught me better about that, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I don't. Now that you mention it, it's just like, what? Yeah, why is this even a big deal to you? Like, it's not a hard word to not say ever.
You're not a real black person unless you sound exactly like Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks.
Yeah.
Hive Size says, do you think Trump says the immigrants are from mental hospitals because they are called asylum seekers? Unironically, there is a degree to which I think that is true.
I would not be shocked to find that out at all.
I think that's one of the reasons why he keeps going on about Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, I could see that.
My good friend, Hannibal Lecter.
I don't know, like, he knows that Hannibal Lecter is a fictional character, right?
I mean, Donald Trump was a character in a movie in Home Alone 2, so maybe Hannibal Lecter, real guy. just, dicking around out there. Who knows? Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. Uncle Ruckus is Jesse Lee Peterson personified.
Yep.
I thought Jesse Lee Peterson was Jesse Lee Peterson personified.
Uncle Ruckus is fictional Jesse Lee Peterson.
Oh, Jesse Lee Peterson is Uncle Ruckus personified. It was just backwards.
Yeah, they both have similar ideology. They are both white supremacists while also being black men.
Because idiots see social conventions and politeness as censorship. Yeah, there is a certain degree of that, but I think there's also like, this is a word I say in private all the time. Why can't I just say it in public? Why do I get in trouble if it slips out in public? Like, well, that seems like...
There are some things that are private that are not supposed to slip out in public. Examples could be the N-word or your penis.
I mean, you shouldn't be saying it in private either.
No, you shouldn't. But if you have to explain it to somebody that desperately needs to be able to say it in private for whatever reason, it's your penis. If you desperately need to say this in private for one reason or another, I can't control that, but I can control to a degree whether or not something happens to you for whipping it out in public. That's a thing I can do.
Yeah. All right. Linda R. Farley says, "This is, you've seen this one. I think you're how I saw this one originally, and then somebody else tagged me in this one afterwards."
Smoker phobic.
So Linda R. Farley says, "We all quit going to restaurants when they went smoker phobic, not paying for hospitality we do not get." Like, what
the fuck is smoker phobic?
What? Yeah, like, no, yeah, don't blow your cancer dust in my face, please. I like not having cancer. Thank you very much.
I literally just went, ma'am, I don't want you breathing your cancer at me. That's what it is. It's not smoker phobic. It's dangerous chemical.
A phobia is an irrational fear of something. Smoking gives you cancer. I think that is rational. I like being afraid of cigarette smoke. That is perfectly rational. So no, it's not a smoker phobic. It is a gross, get that away from me.
Yeah.
But then Jaybird007 says, as is evidenced by the fact that restaurants no longer exist. To which Linda replied, "There are way fewer of them than there were, and the fast food drive-thrus mushroomed. Many smokers switched to drive-thru and takeout."
People switched because they were convenient?
They actually seem to think that like smokers boycotting restaurants had a negative impact on restaurant revenue or whatever. No. It's like, no, more people like me are now happy to go out. Because like Ontario has had smoking inside, like not just restaurants, but like smoking inside, unless it's a private residence. Like if it's a building that is accessible to the public, there is no smoking in it anywhere.
Good.
And it's been that way since I was a child. But I actually remember there was a brief period of time where like some places could get like a special license that like if they could have like a special room set aside for the smokers. And so like there was a Tim Hortons in my town that they had like a glass box that if you need to smoke while you're having your coffee and donut, you could go sit in the glass box. And I remember like even with it, like because part of the licensing was it had to have a separate ventilation system, but like it still smelled through the entire place. Through the entire building, it still smelled like cigarette smoke because every time someone opens the door to go in there, now the smoke's coming out. And I remember sitting in the Tim Hortons at the table, be like at the far end of the restaurant, being like, I don't want to be here because people keep coming in and out of that room, and every time they do, there's a waft of smoke that comes blowing in my face. So like, yeah, when they took that down and just made it no smoking, I was much more comfortable there.
Things got better.
I'm not the only person that felt that way. I don't think I could have done my job as a server if I had to wait tables in a smoking section.
Yeah, that would have been one of those things where like you would lose your job very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to go there. That's a health hazard. No.
Yeah, well, actually that's the thing because like health and safety, like you are allowed to refuse unsafe work.
Yep.
So like, I'm just wondering, like, would that have actually worked? Like, no, you can't put me in the smoking section because I am refusing unsafe work.
It
I don't know.
depends on, I guess it really depends on the era in which you did it, right? Because like,
Well, I'm talking like 90s is when it was illegal in Ontario, I think. 90s or early 2000s, like very early 2000s.
90s was the last time I remember those sections even being a thing to begin with. So like for me, my last recollection of a smoking section was in Pensacola. There was this restaurant called Barnes, I want to say. I can't remember. All I remember is that it had big barn doors, and it eventually got turned into a Ryan's after a while. But they had a smoking section, and the person who introduced me to Yu-Gi-Oh, his dad was a smoker. So when we would go there, I would have to sit there with that because that's the last time I remember a smoking section anywhere at all.
Yeah. Yeah, but like, I don't know. I feel like restaurants do better now without smoking, because especially with like the prevalence of smoking dropping over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they were to bring back a smoking section, suddenly they would see a decrease in revenue.
Well, because there'd be a lot of people who just don't want to be around that wouldn't go there.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a couple of bars here, and one of them closed down recently. But there were a couple of bars here that allowed smoking indoors still, just because people would do like cigarettes and alcohol together. And I remember some of them had decent food. So sometimes after the tournament that we would go do Magic the Gathering stuff together, we would every now and again not have a food option because of the location of the tournament we were at. And so a bar was the only place that was open till like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So we would have to go to a bar. And anytime it just happened to be a bar that allowed smoking, it would be we walk in and we immediately walk out.
Mm-hmm.
Just it could not happen because that shit, it is a very quick way to ruin my appetite and a lot of other people's appetites.
Yeah. All right. Ravez says, yeah, if you also paid attention, you realize that none of those things are. Oh, yeah. This was in response to somebody posting like an embryo and showing that like there's some evolutionary evidence here. And I don't think the gill slits were even directly at part of the conversation, but like they were labeled on the diagram that they had. But so you'd realize that none of those things are gill slits, or are gills, since we breathe through our mom's belly button, not the fucking gills, dumbass. Since that's what what's used to breathe.
We breathe through the belly button?
Fetuses are using the umbilical cord as a snorkel to breathe through the belly button. Didn't you know that, Suris? Dumbass. Come on, everybody knows that. Fetuses are snorkelers.
Before my mom was willing to have the conversation about sex with me, she told me that I was birthed through the belly button. So maybe at one point in time, I would have been dumb enough to believe that.
But that's not even. You can explain birth without getting into sex.
Look, there were a lot of weird things that happened in my childhood. Okay.
Yeah, I believe it. But. Yeah, breathing
through the belly button sounds painful as hell.
Fennec says, I mean, I use my own belly button. Your belly button is your original mouth. Sure, why not? I mean, actually, no, it kind of is. It kind of is your original mouth. Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. I laughed at that at first, but then I thought about it and was like, oh, no, that's actually literally it.
Belly button blowjobs. It's the original mouth.
That sounds like one of those, like the kid trying to avoid losing their virginity. And like, oh, it doesn't count if you fuck me in the belly button.
It doesn't count in the belly button. Just the tip. That's all that'll fit.
Yeah.
If belly buttons are so good, why didn't they make belly button 2?
Belly button 2 electric boogaloo.
Pirate Fishy says that would be someone's loophole.
Yep.
It doesn't count if it's anal.
Yeah, I never understood that argument.
you know
Like,
what?
even as a
somebody,
Christian who was looking for excuses to have sex, that still never made sense to me. Like, no, it's still sex.
as somebody who made that argument as a kid, I think I only did it just to get around
Well,
getting in trouble.
obviously. But, like,
Like,
I couldn't even bring myself to make that argument because it's so very obviously not true.
I think it was that like I didn't consider sex anything that didn't involve the risk of pregnancy. So like oral sex, despite the name making it very obvious what it is, and anal sex just not counting in my brain.
And then in the South, it was confirmed that it doesn't count if it's through the ear. Yeah, ear jobs are a thing, apparently.
Who's doing that? Why?
People with pencil dicks.
I
'Cause
feel like that's
I
just a
can't
way
fit.
to.
I can't fit in there.
Well,
Although
who do you do? Rich
I am-
McGee over here.
I am told that I have very wide ear canals, so maybe I could be on the receiving end.
You're just sitting there like, can it stretch enough?
What about Mormon soaking? So, unfortunately, as much as I want to believe it, the soaking thing is not actually a thing that they do. It's just a meme that happens, and happens to be believable given what else we know about the Mormons.
What about jump humping?
I think that's the same as soaking, isn't it? Like where you are just inside each other and then a friend is jumping on the bed because you're not allowed to
jumping
move.
on the bed.
Yeah. Is that what you meant?
Yep. Oh, whoa. Although, okay, so hold on. How did
it doesn't count if they're in birth control. If the risk of pregnancy is what counts.
Or you're using a condom. It's not really sex if you're not doing it raw.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. So where did the soaking get debunked? When did that happen?
I don't know, but I Googled it, and also Fuzzy Squirrel is saying, as a former Mormon, I don't think that soaking is a real thing, but who knows?
I feel like it's literally just some teenagers will use any excuse in a storm, and soaking is one of them.
I feel like getting the third person involved is the big no-no, though, because, like, one of the things that is a real thing in Mormonism, this is not a universal thing, but there are some not parishes, whatever the Mormon version of a parish would be. There are some that like when they're out on mission and they're living in the house with like the 4 or 5 other kids, or like the other guys that are on mission with you, in order to avoid people masturbating in the bathroom, they would actually have to poop with the door open.
What?
Ward, that's what it is. Ward. So that's not a universal, but that is something that was a true thing that happened in some wards. But soaking is not, like, there's no actual evidence that it ever actually happened. Like, nobody has ever come forward and been like, yeah, I am a Mormon who did that, or a former Mormon who did that.
Hello, my name is Father Comstock.
Like,
I am a soaker.
Like the soaking has the same evidence supporting it as the litter boxes in classrooms. It's all, oh yeah, I know someone who had that happen to. So, yeah. Now, I mean, Fuzzy Squirrel, feel free to change that. You can just come out and be like, yeah, we soaked all the time. And then now there is positive evidence. And I promise I will cut this part out of the stream so we don't all know you're lying. No, I'm not going to encourage people to lie. Don't do that.
On the internet? Who would do that?
Not I, said the fox. Not I, said the sheep. Not I, said the duck. Little rooster that could. No, that's not the name of the book. Little red hen, that's what it was. Anyway, Donald J. Trump posted. Now, this is an account that I follow on Twitter that just like reposts all of his True Social posts, so I don't have to log into True Social anymore. I did log in a few times to verify that they were actually posting real things, and then I stopped. So, like, there is a possibility that this is not... I don't think this is an officially sanctioned account. So there's a possibility that they might make shit up at some point. But, I don't know. This one tracks. He said, it will be impossible for America to survive another 4 years of a Democrat in the White House, he said on August 12th. So do you remember right after he got shot and he started talking about how the Democrats were inciting political violence by saying that he's a threat to democracy?
Yep.
Yeah, so given that that was his position right after getting shot at, and now he is saying that the Democrats are a threat to democracy. This is him
Yeah,
calling for violence, right? By his own
it,
standard.
it would have to be.
Like, if he was either lying when he said that it's them calling for violence, or he's lying about them being America not surviving if they're in the White House, or more likely both. He's just a liar. He's a lying liar who lies.
It's a liar, a weaselly little liar.
Yeah. I don't know why Naked Olympics are the best Olympics newsletters is posting all the film projectors in the chat, but
in 1885, one of the LDS Church's top leaders, 73-year-old Apostle Albert Carrington, argued during hearings before his excommunication that his decade of extramarital sexual relationships with multiple younger women did not count as adultery because it was just a little folly where he would only penetrate the vagina and would leave before ejaculating.
Okay, that's not soaking though. That's just sex without finishing. That's onanism. Is what that is.
That's the closest thing to like historical soaking.
Historical
that I
soaking.
could look. I got curious. Okay.
Oh, the projectors are because it's projection on Donald J. Trump's part. Okay.
Saka says super soakers to squirt more.
That's what edging gets you. No, I was just going to go off on a tangent about how one of the reasons my partner is convinced that I have autism is because I like mechanisms and spinning. Like I'm playing with a screw in a thing on my headphone holder as we speak, and I have like one of those little twisty things on my desk that like
I have no idea what you're talking about with 3D printed fidget toys.
Yeah, no, it's one of those little things. Yep. Yeah,
I love those things.
Yeah, these things are great. I play with it all the time, and
I need to make one for me.
Yeah, no, so that's one of the reasons that she is convinced that I have autism is because, or that I am autistic, because I am obsessed with like mechanisms and gears, but like projectors. Like I would. Like I love old-timey projectors, just like watching how they work and seeing all the little mechanisms working together and the timing and how the little shutter thing has to get like, oh, love that shit. Fucking love that shit.
Yeah.
And anytime I'm thinking like if this is me being autistic, then like society exists because of autistic people. Because like
this is one of the reasons why trying to cure autism sounds so nightmarishly stupid.
Yeah. Can you imagine a neurotypical person getting that into just a thing that spins a little bit so that they can figure out how to make a fucking clock? Have you ever looked at the fucking gears that are in a clock? Like one of the old school pendulum clocks?
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, those things are so intricate, and like all the different gear ratios that have to be happening. Like, oh my god, it's beautiful.
Just watching rhinotism.
Yeah, exactly.
Rhinotism.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. Yeah, and then we got the good Uno reverse where vaccines don't cause autism, autism causes vaccines.
It's true.
Yeah.
Naked
Olympics are best Olympics says I'm autistic and ADHD. You're definitely one of us. Yeah, so my partner pegged me as autistic. Well, you can just click my partner pegged me. So yeah, she pegged me as autistic within like by our third date or something. And while I do not have an official diagnosis, I now have one child that is diagnosed autistic and another child that is going through the process of becoming diagnosed autistic. And since there is a very, very strong genetic component to autism, like it's not a sure thing that I am autistic, but it's very likely. So
the magic 8-ball agrees.
Yeah, like, and at this point, at this stage in my life, there's not really any benefit that I would get from going through the diagnostic process.
Yeah.
So there's no real point in me getting an official diagnosis. So it's just self-diagnosis at this point, which that can be problematic as fuck.
But at this point, we can say you are autistic enough for you.
Well, I also like I am diagnosed with ADHD, and there's a very strong
There's a
correlation
strong
there.
correlation between those.
So yeah, the numbers are such that I'm at a point where it's like, do I need to fight against this, or do I just accept my fate?
One of them, one of them. I say only because I too have not been diagnosed.
Yeah. Okay. So Trump somehow sent us on a autism rant.
He did. He sent us on a journey of self-discovery about tism.
Yeah. Ooh, ripping a check out of a checkbook. Are we talking about stims and things that we just love doing? Because, like, yeah, that's a good one.
Oh boy, we're Walsh coasting now.
Yeah, this is the Walsh one. Is this the one that he said was a joke? So yeah, he says, we need to reclaim the word native. The idea that a white man in America isn't native to his own country, even if his family has lived here for 300 years, is asinine. Even more incoherently, I can call myself a native Marylander, but not a Native American. Somehow I'm native to my state, but not my country? How does that work? Only those descending from primitive tribes that lost the battle to get to be considered native for whatever reason. Yet another arbitrary language game that many conservatives acquiesce to. So,
oh my god.
is this the one that he said was a joke? Because
I didn't see a follow-up on this, so I
yeah,
don't know.
because like if that's supposed to be a joke, it's not a very good one.
No, it's not. It's not.
I mean, are any of Matt Walsh's jokes good?
Like, so are you a native Marylander just means that you were born in Maryland. Are you native to America is the same question, but are you a Native American is a different question. They sound similar, yes, but they are not the same. And I feel like most people with a third grade education understand the difference between are you native to America and are you a Native American? Are you an
But
American native or are you a Native American?
also, like, why does it even fucking matter? Like, I have never felt like I've been deprived because I can't call myself a native Canadian, which honestly, I probably could call myself a native Canadian because that's not a thing that any indigenous people would call themselves in Canada that I am aware of. Maybe they do,
Yep.
and I'm just not aware of it. But like, that's not something I need to say.
No, it's one of those it's the N-word thing all over again,
Yeah.
right? It's
Well, and
why does this group of people get to say this thing but not us? My guy, you don't need it. You
what?
gain nothing for it.
And I was just thinking, like, I was mentally, I put that in like other countries. Like, am I a native Briton, a native German, native whatever, and then just it turns it in like it immediately becomes apparent that like, oh, this is xenophobic rhetoric, where like the only time it's important whether or not you're native is when you're trying to keep the other out.
Yep.
So like that's why I have never felt deprived by not being able to call myself a native, because I don't fucking care.
It's not part of your Christmas lists of needs.
Yeah, like I don't have a need to keep other people out of Canada. I say Canada's a pretty great place. If people want to come here, I'm happy to share the place with them. And hey, there were people that were already here that didn't really have a choice in sharing it with us white folk. So, like, I don't know. This seems like a gross opinion that that he can only have because of his position of privilege.
Yep.
Oh, Olivia Williams super chat or something. I think my my YouTube chat is frozen.
It does that a lot, for me at least.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. It finally caught up. Olivia Williams says he's trying to erase the First Nations. Yeah. So this is so in North America or in any country that's been colonized by us white folks, is that like they'll try, like they do try and minimize any of the people that were there before we got there. And like clearly, like he's saying, right, he basically says the white people won because they were better. So natives were primitive and they lost the battle. It's like, okay,
Like, my guy, are we just really going to do the whole might makes right thing? Is that do you think
yeah,
that if
like
somebody is physically stronger than you, they should be allowed to rape you? Is that where we're at? Because that's what that argument is.
yeah,
That's where it leads.
like if the natives had invented the boomstick before Europeans got there and the Europeans showed up on their shore and got fought off with guns, like would he, like if that was the history, would his opinion be different? Like
Oh,
I
oh
don't know.
no.
What?
Um, so God's Gang is apparently going to be adding another
Oh
main
no.
character to the cast.
Oh, so I didn't notice this when I was looking it up on IMDb when we watched it live.
Mm-hmm.
But remember how I was like, oh, is the Jew person actually Jewish, or is it just some guy putting on a Jewish voice? I didn't notice that it's played by the same guy who plays the black person. So like, it doesn't matter which one he's doing. Like, he could be Jewish and not just putting on a really racist stereotype Jewish voice, but then he's doing it for the black person, or he could be black and he's doing it for the Jewish person, or he could be neither, and it's even worse. I suspect it's neither. Okay. God's Gang.
Apparently, they are looking into
Oh,
getting
help us out.
another person.
Who should be our next superhero? Let us know in the comments. Oh, we could have some fun with this. Oh, we could have some horrible, bad, problematic fun with this.
If they didn't already have Crisscross, why can't we just give them Bible Man? Can we get the return of Bible Man here? Can we?
Who should our next superhero be?
Should it be an atheist?
Okay. Yeah.
But an atheist just named like Fedora Bob.
Fedora Bob. Sure. Everybody go to God's Gang. It's at God's Gang Go. That sounds God's Gang Go. That sounds like a disease.
It's not God's Gangrene.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it. So everybody go there and reply with like atheist and give them funny names or something.
I think Fedora Bob is the way to go.
Fedora Bob.
Gangrene Gang? No, that's Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, so we could have some fun with that.
We can.
Oh, that was the last tweet.
The last tweet was the God's Gang tweet. It was the secret extra
secret
tweet.
extra tweet was God's Gang.
Yep.
Lucy Lucifer.
Ooh.
No, just Lucy, last name Fur.
Yeah, but then that just sounds like she's a furry.
Or Lucius Fur.
Lucius, how dare you? We're trying to have a good, wholesome breakfast.
Rosina says Teen Titans Go. Is that is
don't
that where
want
they
that
got their
travesty.
handle from? Are they just ripping off Teen Titans?
God's Gang Go. Oh, no, that's
that's their handles.
Yeah?
God's Gang Go, Teen Titans Go.
Huh. Man, I think I hate it a little more now. I was a God's Gang fan, and then they brought this nonsense in. I remember when it was about the stories, man.
Winnie Wicca, Katie Thulu.
Katie Thulu.
I like Katie Thulu.
There'd be some interesting fan art of that character, I think.
Ooh, a Satanist.
I feel like that would just be the Lucifer, right?
Yeah, it was the same person who suggested Lucifer. So yeah, a Satanist. Team up with it. That would be amazing. But yeah, that's fun.
Let's see here. Don't get me started. Jesus, this is not a weapon that should be in our hands. This is too powerful to be in our hands.
Yeah, well, the clock on my taskbar still says it's 20 after 8.
Oh, so we still got plenty of time.
But the clock on my phone says it's 10 to 11.
You can't trust that. Phones aren't real.
Phones aren't real, no.
Phones are like birds. They were all replaced in the 80s. Smacko says, before Rhino goes, fan art, what did you do?
Oh, no.
Oh no!
Send it. Send it.
Okay, here you go.
Am I going to be able to show this on stream? Okay. Okay. Just a minute. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Okay, let's go back to the tweet so I have a place to put it.
That's so great.
Boop. Boop.
Hey, Hulkmaniacs! Ready for a smackdown? I can't do his voice very well, but close enough. Close enough.
You still have the rule on your channel that fan art is canon, right?
Fan art is canon, so
there we go. Hulk with a pussy is now Suris canon.
Hulk with a pussy grabbing Sonic the Hedgehog-ified versions of you and me is canon.
Yes. We about to find out about that handlebar mustache.
Grip tight, brother. You're going for a ride.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ.
I might feel a little bit bad if he wasn't just a horrible person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, just wanted to give a quick thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who help keep me afloat and help keep this channel going. YouTube and Twitch are wonderful platforms, but at the end of the day, stability is not one of their strong suits. If you want to support my channel, then obviously Patreon is one of the best ways of doing that. Link is in the description. But I do want to personally thank everybody who has contributed to the channel. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Autumn and Angel, Nixie Chan, Mark Anthony, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that. Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fire Shard. And everyone else who supports my channel and lets me do what I do full time. This is a dream job of mine that I never believed that I would be able to take full time, and with your help I've been able to do it. So thank you so very much for that. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you all enjoy, and I hope you all are having a wonderful time. I will see you all in the next one, hopefully.